I'm here to talk about what worship is to me. Worship is communion with God. Worship is having a cup of coffee with God and just hanging out with Him. That's what worship is to me. Worship takes many shapes. Worship can be on the front porch in a swing, as it was yesterday. I was having a cup of coffee with God, and I live in a subdivision here in Columbus. And I was just hanging out with Him, and all of a sudden 3 deer run into my yard and stop. And immediately after that, a male and a female cardinal landed right in front of me. I was just speechless, and I knew it had to be God, just saying, I'm right here. At other times, I could be at work, I could be in a grocery store, and just talking to Him and feeling Him near me and telling Him how much that I love Him and knowing that He loves me. That's worship. And another time a few years ago, I was at Grace Community, and we were at a special service, and people were worshiping in their own way. It wasn't like a legalistic, or they weren't in a box on how they were expected to worship. Some were sitting on the floor, some were sitting in their chair, some were twirling around, some were waving a flag, some had their hands raised to the Lord, and each one of them was worshiping Him and spending time with Him in their own way. And I just stood there and I watched everyone, and I heard the Lord say, this is God's playground, a place you want to be, a place to go to be healed, to be whole, where you're loved. And it's a place to be free. And it doesn't matter where you're at, God is with you. All you have to do is talk to Him, and you'll feel Him. And sometimes when you're just sitting, it could be in a park, it could be in your car. Take time and just talk to Him and say, God, I love you. That's worship. God said, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. And those are the things that I go by, and that's worship to me. Talking to Him, singing to Him, playing to Him. At night, if I feel Him, and He'll wake me up sometimes at night, I'll go to the piano that I played as a child. This piano was built in 1935, and my grandmother purchased it because she was the piano teacher for our community. And I'll just go and I'll start playing, and I feel Him and I feel His pleasure. So my point is, in saying all of this, is worship isn't in a box. Worship is you being where you're at, and you just hanging out with your Heavenly Father who loves and adores you. So that's what worship is to me.